fascinating. And in good nick?
In relatively good nick, considering its age.
Better nick than most of the stuff in my kitchen, to be brutally honest. 14 minutes past 6.
Now, if you were amazed by that, wait till you see this, because if you were looking up at the sky last night...
Shire Group has altered timesheets, docked wages and stopped payments per delivery.
Nugent Group, which runs 22 Pizza Hut delivery outlets, says it is absolutely committed to robust employment practices. Our employment correspondent Zoe Conway reports.
Zoe Conway with that report for us.
Now, let's have a look at this morning's papers, shall we, at 23 minutes past 6. Sky.
And now life in Mars, and it's not even 25 past 6 on a Tuesday morning.
We're going to get a lot of emails about that.
Do you know, we can go back 5 years now.
Yeah, more
to
recent.
Something that we'll all remember.
Yeah, the first COVID lockdown. The uncertainty of that time brought communities together, of course, but as you will remember, it also prompted toilet roll panic buying.
Remember that? It was crazy, wasn't it? Bare supermarket shelves frustrated one man so much, he set up a Facebook group about it, which unexpectedly turned into a community lifeline. And now, 5 years on, it's still helping people, as Sean Peel explained. Life on Mars and loo roll before 6:30. Do you think there are still people out there who bought too much loo roll 5 years ago and are still working
and
their way through
it? And it's in their garage?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I really want to think about that, John.
What we do need to think about is we need to check in with our teams around the UK to get the news, the travel and the weather where you are. See you in a moment. The economics team will be all across the detail in the spring statement in the Commons tomorrow.
Yeah, big day. Big night last night for England, or was it, John? Was it? Now, millions of waste tyres in the UK are being sold on the black market and shipped to India, where they are illegally burned in makeshift furnaces.
Yeah, a BBC investigation has found that British companies are exporting 35 million tyres halfway around the world every year, despite car owners here paying a fee to have them safely disposed of. Paul Kenyon reports.
And you can listen to more on that story from BBC File on 4 Investigates. It's on BBC Sounds now.
Just after 7:15, Matt is with us in the studio with the weather this morning, talking about the fact that, according to some of the supermarkets, we're buying more Christmas food in March. Apparently, sales of chestnut stuffing have gone up 89% compared with this time last year. Chocolate Florentines more than doubling. Pigs in blankets up 20% compared with what's going on?
Is that because they were at zero, though? Are they starting from a very low base
I don't know,
John?
but I mean, it's maybe, but it's a big increase. Panettone surged by 168% compared with the same week last year. We're finding comfort and joy in festive food in March. I'm not sure.
Would you eat Christmas food in March? I certainly wouldn't be eating turkey and cranberry.
I'll tell you what I would fancy.
Go on, a pint.
A pint at the pub.
I knew you were going to say that.
We reported yesterday that the average price of a pint is expected to go above £5 for the first time. And I know there are regional variations, but that would be the national average.
And also, in some parts of the UK, it's even more than that. It's coming up to 7 o'clock. That means it's time to get the news, the travel and the weather where you are. Now, if you were looking up at the sky last night and it was clear, you might have suspected you were seeing your very first UFO. Here's
14 minutes past 7, and let's return to our main story now. The fact that a group of MPs has accused the government this morning of making a mistake by not taking over the management of one of the schemes to compensate victims of the post office scandal.
One former sub-postmaster has told the BBC he was left traumatised after receiving a compensation offer that was just a fraction of his initial claim, as Mark Denton reports.
An important health story for you this morning, because the UK is publishing a new list of 24 infectious diseases that could pose the greatest future threat to public health. Some of them are viruses with the potential to cause a global pandemic like COVID did.
Well, the list will be updated at least yearly with the aim of steering scientists and investors into making new tests and vaccines or medicines, as Alex Rhodes reports. Breakfast with John Kay and Sally Nugent.
Good to have you with us this morning. Now, former professional footballers Tony Parkes and Alan Gilliver have a lot in common. They both enjoyed long careers in sport that they loved. They are devoted family men, but sadly, they're also both living with advanced dementia.
Their families believe their conditions have been caused by football. They've joined the campaign calling for better support for former players and want more to be done to protect footballers against the dangers of heading the ball. Our sports correspondent Natalie Perks has been to meet them. And support for those living with dementia is being featured across the BBC.
It's coming up to 7:45. Let's join John with the sport. Morning, John. Like that, some tiny molecules, but, you know, maybe within those molecules... Within those fatty molecules, there is...
In the sky, life on Mars.
Or life is here, or maybe not. 17 minutes past 8, Matt has the weather.
Now, 5 years ago, the broadcaster and author Clemency Burton-Hill suffered a catastrophic brain hemorrhage at the age of just 38.
Against the odds, she woke up from a 17-day coma, but was unable to walk or speak. But now, a remarkable new BBC documentary follows her journey to rebuilding her life and her hopes of playing her beloved violin once again. We'll speak to Clemency in a moment, but first, just have a look.
Clemency's documentary, My Brain, After the Rupture, will air on BBC Two on Friday at 9 o'clock.
It really is well worth watching. It's amazing. Right, it's 8:33. In an hour's time, we'll join Morning Live.
And this morning it's Holly and Gethin. That's a good point. Will the crocodiles make them row faster?
World record.
Yeah, I'm getting away from that.
Every turn. Weather for us. Good morning.
Now, we're staying with really rather incredible things because a huge collection of objects dating back from the Iron Age have been discovered in the north of England, and it is changing a lot of what historians thought they knew about that period of history.
Challenging all kinds of thought this morning.
There we are,
more than
sublimating, aren't we?
800 items, including parts of chariots, wagons and ceremonial spears, were buried in a village in North Yorkshire 2,000 years ago. Our correspondent Danny Savage has been to investigate.
It is 17 minutes past 9. That means it's time to get the news, the travel and the weather where you're waking up this morning. Now, cast your mind back to the first COVID lockdown. The uncertainty of that time brought communities together, but as you will remember, it also prompted toilet roll panic buying.
It was mad.
Wasn't it?
Mad. Bare supermarket shelves frustrated one man so much he set up a Facebook group all about it, which unexpectedly turned into a lifeline for his community. And now, 5 years on, he's still helping people, as Sean Peel explains. It's quite a journey, isn't it?
Still going, yeah.
Over 5 years. Well done, Peter. Great.
Now, as pubs face rising costs from next week, the average price of a pint is expected to go above £5 for the very first time.
So Nina is trying to find out why. What is causing this?